and this is the first pinball level in Sonic. As you can see, there are these pinball flippers here, and when you land on them and press A, it somehow reads Sonic's mind to figure out that he wants them to launch him, and so he gets launched. And he basically becomes a pinball because he's curled up in a ball. And I don't know if it's a mixture of... It's probably a mixture of me not being good at pinball, and maybe the pinball physics aren't very good, but I never like using these things. Like, it's not very often that I get sent where I want to go, and I hate these things. It takes multiple seconds to be launched by them because you have to hold down the A button and wait for them to launch you. Why can't they just be regular springs? Why does it have to have these really slow springs? And I don't like it when these things just uncontrollably bounce me around. When you hit them when they're red, they disappear and they're out of your sight for good. But it takes a while for them to turn red. You have to turn yellow first. And sometimes you have to break past them to progress. And these elevators really slow things down. Like, you're just standing there and waiting. And these bumpers just constantly sending me in directions I don't want to go. Like, it's such a pain in the ass moving around in these levels. I hate pinball levels. I don't know why people enjoy them so much. Why is it fun to be forced to move in places that you don't want to move? It's like, oh sure there are loops, but the whole fast-paced funness of the loops doesn't make up for the fact that you have to wait so long for the spring to launch you. Because God forbid it be a normal spring. No, we have to make things gimmicky. There aren't very many of these enemies in this place. This level has a surprisingly small amount of badness. Why can't every level in the game be like this? But, like I said, it's not the only problem I have with this game. The enemies. Even without the enemies, the levels can still be annoying to go through. If you try to attack the enemy normally, sometimes its bumper will knock you back. So it's pretty annoying to defeat, but it doesn't have a projectile attack, which is rare for enemies in this game. So it doesn't really have much of a chance of hurting you. As you can see, I tried to spin dash into it and it knocked me back. It's only if you outright walk into it that it'll hurt you. Spring Yard Zone sort of had a pinball level because it had all of the springs around. This level has a lot of springs too, but it's mostly about the pinball and being sent in directions you don't want to go. If you hold down the A button when you're in the slot machines, then you'll manipulate them so that you're guaranteed to have 3 of the same thing that you landed on. Like, if you land on a Sonic and you hold down the A button, then you're guaranteed to get 3 Sonics, which doesn't get you that much actually. I mean, you think landing on 3 Sonics would get you the highest prize of all, but it doesn't. You have to land on jackpots. And obviously, getting 3 Eggmans will cause you to lose all of your rings. Or is it Eggmen? However you say it. Yeah, some of these sections can be annoying to go through. Like, a lot of the times you land in places like this, and you have to hold down in order to keep being curled up in a ball, and be launched through it really fast. Oh, I hate that thing. Like, that block just blocks you. It makes getting out of this section even... Why did they have to bring back the blocks from Spring Yard Zone? Because it was so much fun dealing with those things, wasn't it? It's like, they move around so slowly, and you have to wait for them to get out of your way, and they can crush you at the wrong times. And of course, something I haven't mentioned yet is the spin dash. This is the first appearance of spin dash in Sonic history. As you can see, you just hold down to crouch, and then you hold down the A button, and you can tap the A button rapidly to rev it up so that you'll be sent a lot further and keep your speed for a lot longer of a time. And the spin dash is practically necessary to beat this boss, because are you really going to rely on the pinball flippers? Because he constantly drops these exploding mines. And and there's an electrical field below him. So if you get sent up to him from the pinball flippers, then chances are you're going to get hit by the electrical field or by the bombs. So what you need to do is spin dash so that you're up the walls, and then press the A button to jump off the walls, and hope against hope that you'll somehow land on Eggman and not overshoot him. And I hate when this happens. You uncurled there. I didn't want to uncurl. I wanted to stay in ball form, but I didn't. And I was lucky that I didn't land on Eggman while I was falling there. I hate that boss. It's not so bad once you know what to do, though. I just love Sonic's idle animation. Like, I love making it play after I beat a level that I don't like, so I can make Sonic show my dissatisfaction with it. And now we get to Hilltop Zone. Its music is kind of, it's like the beginning feels like it's so bad it's good, but not even really that. I mean, it has a really bad intro for its music. It feels like they're intentionally trying to screw it up. But then it gets to the really cheerful part of the song, and I like it. But later it gets bad again. It's a mixed bag. And look, they brought the seesaws from Starlight Zone back. Although they're a little better this time because they're always on flat ground instead of being above places where you can fall down. So I guess they're not as bad. And a lot of people hate Hilltop Zone because they think that it's a recoloration of Emerald Hill Zone, and so they don't really see it as its own separate level. But, oh yeah, I hate these things. I have a huge grudge against these things because when I was playing through this game as Super Sonic, I jumped into one of these things. My game froze. The music was still playing, but the game soft-locked on me. And I had to play the entire game all over again, because the level select cheat in Sonic 2 is extremely difficult for me to reliably, and I've never been able to do it. I know the instructions, I followed the instructions, and I can't get to work. The level select cheat for Sonic 1 is pretty easy. You just go up, down, left, right, and then hold B and press start. And it's easy, and then you just choose whichever act you want, and everything's fine. For Sonic 2, you have to go into the sound test, and then you have to play certain songs, starting with track 19. And you have to take advantage of the fact that you press the A button, and that can cause the sound test number to skip ahead by 10. And you can't press the A button too many times, or you'll be way too far away from where you need to be, because that's another thing. You have to input the level select cheat under a time limit, because if you don't input this level select cheat fast enough, then it won't work. But if you do it fast enough, then you're going to hear a ringing sound. You're going to hear the sound of you collecting a ring. And then apparently what you're supposed to do is, well, I think you return to the title screen and keep pressing A and start at the same time, but I try it and it doesn't work. So I can't get the level select cheat to work in this game for the life of me. And because of that, whenever I lose all my lives, I have to play the entire fucking game all over again. So, yeah, I use an infinite lives code. Big deal. But I don't want to play this game more than I have to. Because again, the enemies are cheap, they're placed in cheap ways, and I don't enjoy most of the levels in the game. I mean, this is a good section. This is a good, precise platforming section. Although I hate the fact that the platform falls and it doesn't respawn, and so it's pretty difficult to get back here. I mean, it does respawn, but it's kind of hard to make it respawn. I fell down there and it didn't work. But my point is, the lava was rising, and you had to jump on the platforms just fast enough so that the lava didn't catch up to you. So I like that because it makes the precise platforming very rewarding because every jump really feels like it counts. But I don't like these because you're just standing around, and sometimes you can do a spin dash on them and then jump to do a spin dash jump, which will become a lot more useful in Sonic Adventure 1. But here, it's not as useful. But it still is useful though. If you look up and then jump at a checkpoint, that's how you go into the special stage. And I'll be showing off at least one of them, but I'm not very good at these because the rings appear so quickly that you really have to react to them lightning fast. And it feels like you go too far when you tap the directional pad in any direction. So it feels like your movement is slippery. And my biggest problem with this is that, see the way that the half-pipe shaped stage is? Sometimes it curves upwards, so that you can't really see the rings coming very well. Because usually the rings appear on the horizon a pretty long time before you're allowed to collect them. But sometimes the floor curves upwards so that it takes a longer time. The rings appear, but you didn't have nearly as much time to react to them. And I hate how the walls are. The walls block, they don't give nearly as wide of a view of a horizon. I just don't like the way that the half-pipe special stage is designed. Sonic Rush and Sonic Generations 3DS did the half-pipe special stage perfectly. But here it feels like you're supposed to react to the rings lightning fast, and your controls are too slippery. And we haven't even gotten to the hard parts yet. I hate this boss because it's not that bad, but if you have 0 rings left and you don't keep track of how many hits you gave him, then you can fall into lava right after killing him and dealing the final blow. And I feel like that's a Kaizo trap. But anyways, I don't have a problem with the fact that Hilltop Zone that it looks like a blue Emerald Hill Zone. Mainly because it's got the palm trees and it's got blue rocks around, and it's got seesaws and lava and rising lava sections. And I don't really feel like the complaints that Hilltop Zone are just a clone of Emerald Hill Zone are that legitimate, because there's just so many different things that distinguish it from that level. I don't like playing it, but I feel like people are a little too hard on the aesthetic. Because the concept of it's a lava level, but it's got all sorts of grass and trees everywhere, and it's got mountains in the background, and it's got blue ground, which is pretty unique. I mean, I don't really think blue and red combine well together, but I feel like people give its aesthetic too much shit. See you in the next part.